Thank you to the YouTube user David Griffin for sending me this awesome 7-land Belcher list. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you like jank decks like this, we play them all the time, please subscribe to this channel and I'm sure you'll see something else you like. And if you'd like to submit a jank deck, please send one to the email address listed on screen. Thank you. Okay, so 7-land Belcher. This deck I'm excited about. I really like the 7-land Belcher shell. Things of note in this shell. We have a Tezzeret the Seeker tutor for our Charbelcher. And in order to cast Tezzeret the Seeker, we have 2 breeding pools. Interestingly enough, usually when I see Belcher lists like this, we don't generally have non-basic lands because we abuse some broken basic land ramp, but we do have the ability to fetch any forest with Safe Right Quest, making it and Ancient Stirrings and technically recross the paths, ways that we can fetch our breeding pools out of our deck. So basic concept for the deck, we're trying to get to all of our lands out of the deck, 7 lands. We should be able to fetch them out pretty quickly. We power down a Goblin Charbelcher. We activate Goblin Charbelcher, which says reveal cards until we reveal a land and deal that much damage. Since we have no lands in our deck, we reveal, probably around 40 some cards and deal that much damage to our opponent. And if for some reason that doesn't kill them, we can untap and try again. Secondary threats, we have Chancellor of the Tangle, which serves as turn 1 free mana if it's in our opening hand. Another reason we can run so little lands. In addition, it's a 7-mana 6/7 with Vigilance and Reach, which are definitely count as text. It's a good card. Sometimes you just need a big dumb dude you can cast for 7 mana. And when Chancellor of the Tangle is not in our opener, that's what it is. And it works. We also have Wormcoil Engine. General all-around, easy to cast, big finisher spell. Lots and lots and lots of text on it. Really, the only efficient way to answer it is with an Edict or really Path. Edict doesn't even really do it. A couple things worth noting. We've got to be careful with what we set Utopia Sprawl on. We've got to set Utopia Sprawl on blue for Tezzeret the Seeker. We've got to set it on white if we need to cast Flourish. If we have a bunch of mana dorks out, we need to close the game with damage. And we need to set it on red if we bring in Fire Spout from the sideboard. Speaking of the sideboard, we have some ways to answer artifacts and enchantments with Nature's Claim. This is a decent way for us to handle Ley Lines of Sanctity that we might run into, or other problematic permanents, Detention Spheres, things of that nature. Carnage Tyrant as an additional finisher. Carnage Tyrant is just a 6-mana 7/6 giant middle finger to control because it can't be countered, it has trample, and it has hexproof. Because Wizards doesn't like you control. Ever. We also have Fire Spout. If we run into aggro, we can sweep the board, or in the rare occasion that our opponent is playing all flyers, we can sweep the board and leave our Arbor Elves behind. Or if they're all on the ground and we have birds, we can sweep the ground and keep the air clean. We have Damping Sphere for Tron matchups, Storm matchups, any matchup where they want to spam a bunch of spells or abuse broken land ramp like Amulet Bloom. Damping Sphere is the way to go. Seems a little weird in this deck because we try and cast a bunch of 1-mana spells, but we should be okay. Also, does not interact with Utopia Sprawl. Utopia Sprawl and Damping Sphere are not a non-bow. Because of the particular wording on Utopia Sprawl, you can safely cast Utopia Sprawl and still cast Damping Sphere. And then Relic for Grave Hate. Okay, 7-land Belcher. Here we go. Yeah, this looks like a keepable hand. We'll keep this. All right, so we're gonna start Forest, cast Flower, pick up another Forest, and pass the turn. Opponent's turn. They start Spirebluff Canal. Pass. We untap. We draw Arbor Elf. Let's play a Forest. Play Wall of Roots. Should be fine unless they have Spell Snare. Remove a counter. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Oh, bolts the dork. They untap. Play Botanical Sanctum. Ooh, Tarmogoyf. Looks like some kind of Temur tempo deck that we're up against right now. So play a Forest. Play Soccer Tribe Elder. Play Renegade Map. We only have 5 basics, and this should get us there. So we're going to hold off on this Flower Flourish, just to keep Wall of Roots out of bolt range. Opponent shocks in a Steam Vents, goes to 18. Hopefully we can resolve this Worm Coil through some kind of counterspell here. Opponent attacks for 3. So we block and then sack. Get a Forest. Shouldn't be any damage here unless our opponent has a Battle Rage, I think. Some way to pump Goyf plus Battle Rage. So like they could like cycle a Street Wraith or something. I haven't seen a list for what our opponent's doing, so I'm not totally sure what kind of cards they're running. Like, I have some idea of the cards that'll fit in their strategy. Obviously, like low-cost threats and then direct damage and cantrips. Like, this could be a Delver list. It's a Delver list. Okay. There's the Scavenging Ooze. Alright, well the good news is we're gonna resolve this Worm Coil unimpeded. Okay, so sack Renegade Map, get our last basic. Play a Forest. Remove a counter. Or add a counter, I mean. Play Worm Coil Engine, pass the turn. Well, Worm Coil, pretty good. Versus what our opponent is doing. I don't think they expected it. But it plays Polluted Delta. Plays a Grim Lavamancer. Plays another Delver. It's basic Forest or Plains. Okay. Opponent eats Soccer Tribe Elder with Scavenging Ooze. Passes. We draw a Wall of Roots. I think we're going to go ahead and get in with Worm Coil. Opponent does have enough creatures to block it and kill it, but we will trade off for the board and get some tokens out of the deal. Opponent decides not to block. Okay, they go to 13, we go to 26. Let's run some blockers out there. Play Wall of Roots, play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. With Flower and Safe Right Quest in this deck, I'm really surprised that we're not running a basic Plains. Considering we have 12 ways of fetching it, I believe. Just for the added bonus of occasionally casting a Flourish. Maybe getting in for damage with the Dorks and maybe a little extra Worm Coil. I don't know how, like, I don't know how many awkward hands that produces because we are only running 7 lands. But with a basic Plains, we might even open up running like Path to Exile or something out of the side. We could I think this list has some budget considerations in it, so I don't know exactly what the original list was going for, but I do like this particular build. I think it does some pretty sweet things. Opponent's debating about attacking. They attack. No blocks from us. We're keeping up 8 mana, basically, so we could play and activate a Charbelcher if we happen to draw one. Opponent shoots the Arbor Elf. Okay. We get a Utopia Sprawl. So we're going to go ahead and put this on a forest. Name Blue. And get in with Wormcoil. No blocks from our opponent. Opponent goes to 6. We go to 27. Still no blind flip on the Delver. Opponent plays a Breeding Pool tapped. Opponent eats a creature with Scavenging Ooze. Well, they're shrinking their Goyf with the Lavamancer and Ooze. Oh, we should have named white! What am I thinking? Oh, gosh, that was a huge punt. I'm thinking blue because we have like Tezzerets and stuff in our deck. Not even. I just complained about the lack of a basic plains in the deck, and I name blue. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess we start Ancient Stirrings. Charbelcher it is. Cast a Charbelcher. Guess we go ahead and activate targeting our opponent. We only have 2 lands left in the deck. And we got him! Alright, 7-land Belcher. Bring in the pain! Okay, so versus Temur, Delver, Tempo stuff. I think Relic's a reasonable inclusion. Maybe not. Not sure here. I think we're going to have a little bit of trouble resolving things, so I think the Carnage Tyrants are going to be pretty reasonable here. Tezzeret as a tutor for Charbelcher is going to be a little tough. I think I'm okay cutting 3 Tezzerets. Well... Maybe not. Maybe Relic. Let's see. Tezzerets are going to be harder to resolve, I think, through some of our opponent's counterspells, because they're going to bring in more counterspells. We're going to have an uncounterable big dinosaur to really bring the pain. So I think I'm fine going down 2, maybe even 3 Tezzerets here, just because we are bringing in additional win conditions. And with the Fire Spout, I think we ought to bring out a few of our Mana Dorks. Cut 1 of each Mana Dork here. And I'm going to go down a Renegade map. I think it's our worst land fetching spell. I'm going to try it like this. This might be wrong, might be a little weird, but I'm kind of going on instinct here because I haven't played a deck like this in a long time. Yeah, this is an excellent start. We'll keep this. Opponent mulligans to 6. We reveal Chancellor. Opponent. Plays blue to Delta. Okay, we go to our first pre-combat main phase. Get a green mana. Play a land. Now, if they do have Spell Snare, running out Steve here is going to really hurt. But I think the odds are greater that they have Bolt, and if they have Bolt, playing Arbor Elf here lets them more efficiently use their mana. So I think the odds of a Spell Snare are lower than the odds of a Bolt, so we're going to play Soccer Tribe Elder in an attempt to play around Bolt. I like the fact that if all else fails, we can play a 7-mana 5/6 Reach Vigilance, which this deck should have trouble dealing with. It fetches up a Breeding Pool, shocks it in main phase, plays an island. Here comes the Tarmogoyf. Is having 3 mana next turn much different from having 2? I don't think it's that much different, so I think we're going to keep the Tribe Elder on the battlefield. Oh shoot, I just realized we don't have red mana for Fire Spout unless we Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to leave the Soccer Tribe Elder on board for now. Get another Flower Flourish. So let's start Ancient Stirrings. Pick up a Renegade map. Rest to the bottom. Play a land. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Wooded Foothills. Cracks Wooded Foothills. Finds a Steam Vents. Ooh, foil Steam Vents. Shocks it in. Could be a pre-combat Bolt in the Dark here. Just to grow their Tarmogoyf by 2 more points. Yep, seems pretty reasonable. Opponent gets in for 4. Well, we'll block. Sack with Soccer Tribe Elder. Get a forest. No damage. Opponent passes. We draw. Renegade map. We'll cast Flower. It's kind of awkward if our opponent's running remands, because 90% of our deck costs 1 mana and does the same thing. And, like, it's still, like, they're kind of putting us off tempo just a little bit, but, like, not by that much. Get a forest. Play a forest. Play the Renegade map, because our opponent knows about it. Which, if anything, they're going to see and kind of want it in the graveyard. So if they have like a mana leak, they might mana leak it just to make the Goyf bigger. Okay. Let's Flower one more time. Pick up our last forest. Pass the turn. Just thinning our deck a little bit. We only have 2 lands left, but we have no ramp creatures. And none of our lands that are left are basics. That's important to note. Opponent Destructive Revelries, the Renegade map. Interesting. Well, that's one Destructive Revelry not pointed at Charbelcher. We draw Chancellor. Do we have any reason to play this out? Probably not. Maybe we do. I think we play out the Renegade map. Though the issue is now, for drawing win conditions, we can't cast our Singleton Tezzeret, and unless we get a Safe Right quest, we can't actually get our breeding pools, which means we can't cast Carnage Tyrant or Wormcoil. When it gets in for 5, takes us to 8. We're probably dead to Bolt here. And we draw another Flower Flourish. And I don't think there's any one-turn setup we can do, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to next game. Okay. So I think... Fire Spouts might have been reaching a little bit. I guess it depends on our opponent's start, but... I'll take 1... I also kind of feel like we should be running 4 Ancient Stirrings. The card's so good. I don't know if running 3 is right or not. I'm going to cut another map and put a Fire Spout back in. Try it like this. Yes, I would like to play first. We have no free mana or lands in our opener, so we have to mulligan. Alright. Well, we've got a pretty fast mana hand here. Breeding Pool on top of the deck is insanely good. So we're going to go for the high value play here and start Forest Arbor Elf. Opponent almost certainly has to bolt, otherwise they're going to be in for a world of hurt with this Utopia Sprawl Arbor Elf combo we're going to have going on. Especially if we Ancient Stirrings into another ramp or a land fetch spell. So start Forest, start Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent. Shocks a Steam Vents. Casts an Opt. Ooh, okay. So we draw Breeding Pool. Shock Breeding Pool. Utopia Sprawl. Forest. Now we can either name green, blue, or red, depending on the situation. I don't think naming red is right. Blue might be okay, but we do only have the 1 Tezzeret left. And I feel like we're going to need a lot of green mana. There's also white if we want to do the whole flower flourish thing, which we do have multiple creatures, so that might be okay. I think I'm actually going to name... We'll name green with this hand, I think. So tap Utopia Sprawl for mana. Ancient Stirrings. Pick up Charbelcher. Rest to the bottom. Play Birds. And get in for one. So we do have the mana to cast Wormcoil next turn if our opponent tries to resolve a threat. We can also cast, if we draw a land, we can cast Charbelcher and activate, but I don't know how much damage that'll do. One, two, three, four, five. I think we're going to run out Wormcoil because our opponent does have Destructive Revelries. And Wormcoil survives that just a little bit better. Okay. Run out Wormcoil Engine. When it fetches the Wooded Foothills, are we getting annulled? Or Ceremonious Reject? Oh, okay, good. Whew! Wormcoil resolves. Opponent reveals a Cryptic command to flip Delver of Secrets. Plays a Wooded Foothills. Opponent gets in for 3. Takes us to 15. We draw a Wall of Roots. Well, let's attack for 6. Opponent could have Destructive Revelry here to prevent us from gaining life. Play Wall of Roots. Trying to resolve Charbelcher here feels like it just can't be right. They have 6 cards in hand still. Though if they probably have a land, and we know they have Cryptic commands, so maybe we try and get it in under the Cryptic. Sure, let's go for it. Play Charbelcher. One has the Mana Leak. Alright, well we did not play around Mana Leak. Put a counter on Wall of Roots, play Renegade Map. Pass the turn. When it cracks Wooded Foothills for a mountain, untaps. Shock's Breeding Pool goes to 7. They have Cryptic Command online. Attacks for 3. Takes us to 18. We untap, we draw. Soccer Tribe Elder. We'll go to combat. If our opponent does not Cryptic tap, we almost certainly attack with both Wormcoil and Arbor Elf, just to force the interaction. Like they have to do something. Because if they have to Cryptic to bounce Wormcoil at that point, I feel like tapping is better, but if they had to bounce, then we would be able to recast Wormcoil. Even just by fetching a basic land, we'd have 6 mana. We're kind of putting our opponent in a tough spot here, I think. Cryptic command to bounce Wormcoil and draw. Alright, we're still going to attack with the Arbor Elf. The only way this gets punished is if they have a gut shot, which is possible, but unlikely, I think. Okay, sack Renegade map. Get a forest. Play a forest. Recast Wormcoil Engine. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Spire Bluff Canal tapped. Man, Wormcoil is just so good versus a deck that's trying to aggro you out and damage you really hard. Opponent attacks us down to 15. Four mana for an Arlen Cord. Makes a wolf token. We untap, we draw. Chancellor of the Tangle. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay. We will attack our opponent, force him to block. Okay. Gain a bunch of life. Second main phase. We will cast the big dumb dude. Oh, I love casting Chancellor of the Tangle. It's just a 7 mana 5/7 with a bunch of words on it. If our opponent attacks, we almost certainly do not block. We just take the damage. We're at such a high life total. Because it would open up Chancellor to dying to bolt, and between Chancellor... Oh, it's a 6/7. So Chancellor by itself is also lethal. We have 2 lethal threats on board. This feels good. I like this deck. Opponent is thinking really hard about this one. They deal 3 damage to Wormcoil. Flip Arlen Cord back. Pay full price for a Wizard's Lightning to kill the Wormcoil. Oh my gosh, how many bolts were they holding? Human insect. Not a wizard insect. Opponent passes. We draw. Recross the paths. Well, yeah, I think we just attack with all of our dudes. Except the elf. Just attack our opponent for a bunch. Flashes in Snapcaster Mage to block. Targets Wizard Lightning, but does not have any red mana. Opponent blocks the lifelinker, chumps the Chancellor, goes to 3. Alright, let's recross the paths. Wonder how down our 4th land is. How far down in the deck our 4th land is. Oh, there's only 2 cards down. We will put Wall of Roots on the bottom. Play a Soccer Tri-Builder. Pass the turn. I guess we should have attacked with the Elf too, just to help set up lethal with the Elder next turn. But it makes a Wolf token. Plays a Steam Vents tapped. We untap, we draw. Forest. Alright, let's just attack with everything that can. Snap Cryptic, maybe? Oh, just Cryptic out of hand. Alright, well, they tapped the team. That buys them a turn. Now play the Forest. Pass turn. I like how this is your, like, one of the best cards to have in your opener and a hilariously good win condition. The opponent kills the Death Touch token. Like, it's not going to be that in every matchup, but like in this one. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. But it plays a big goify boy. Pass this turn. We untap, we draw. Flower Flourish would be so good here with this birds. What do we draw? We have a lot of ways to kill our opponent here. Belcher and no counterspell will kill them. Flower Flourish, I believe, kills them. Most of our other big win conditions, like Carnage Tyrant, will end the game. Our opponent won't really have many options to interact with that at all. Soccer Tri-Builder is not the worst thing. Helps ensure victory next turn. Attack our opponent, attack our opponent, attack our opponent. Opponent has to block this Chancellor. Probably chumps with the Wolf. And then, oh. Maybe they have a Bolt to kill the Chancellor. Play another Steve. Bolts the Chancellor to kill it. I honestly expected our opponent to chump with the Wolf, but have a Spell Snare for the second Soccer Tri-Builder. Okay, well, we should have a lot of turns to draw anything that can win the game. Like, any of our big threats are going to end the game. Charbelcher is going to win, almost certainly, because, well, I mean, we did reveal a land in the top 2 the last time we milled for a land with Recross the Path, so I guess it's not impossible for it to be the top card, but usually my luck dictates land is on top if there's any land when I activate Charbelcher. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Makes our Flourish better to have more guys on the board. I don't expect a sweeper from our opponent. Worth noting, if they minus Arlen Cord to deal damage to Soccer Tri-Builder as an example, we can sack in response and prevent the transform. Opponent pumps their creatures and gives them trample. Does not attack. We untap, we draw. Ooh, another Chancellor. Play Chancellor. We do have mana to pay for Mana Leak. If our opponent has Snapcaster or another Cryptic command, we might be in trouble. Opponent has Mana Leak. Untap our forests. Float a mana. Float more mana. Pay for the Mana Leak. Resolve the big dumb dude. I love you, big dumb dude. Big dumb dude has one setting, and that setting is Smash. Opponent shoots the Arbor Elf. Transforms back to Arlencord. Needs to keep pumping out them chump blockers. Opponent also low on time. Ooh, Carnage Tyrant. That should win the game. Alright. Get in with Chancellor. Put the pressure on. Keep it high. Opponent chumps. Well, unless we get time stopped, this Carnage Tyrant should resolve. Or, you know, our opponent will concede. Carnage Tyrant resolves. Opponent sees what they draw. Makes a wolf. If our opponent can fog us with cryptics until we die, it'll be a very impressive feat, but not one easily accomplished inside of 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Opponent plays a second Arlencord. Makes another wolf. And passes. We untap, we draw. I don't know what they could have. Fogs, maybe? I mean, a deck like that almost certainly doesn't run Fog even in the sideboard, but you never know. Still stopped on our upkeep. Just hanging out. We draw Charbelcher. Well, just in case they have Cryptic Tap, we're going to wait to play a second main phase Charbelcher. And because we do have Trample, we're going to attack with Steve, too. Opponent triple blocks the Carnage Tyrant. And still has 7 damage incoming. And 1 over the top, so I guess 8. And damage goes through, we win! 7-land Belcher taking down Temur Delver. Alright, 7-land Belcher. No free mana, 3 Tezzerets. seems like a good mulligan. Alright, we will keep this. We do have Safe Right quest to search out our other breeding pool. Opponent mulligan to 4. Safe Right quest to the bottom. Not sure that matters. Opponent's on the mulligan to 4. That sounds like the dream for this deck. Alright. Get green. We will... Yeah. Cast a Safe Right quest. Get a breeding pool. Play a breeding pool. Shock it in. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Mountain. Plays a Flame Blade Adept. Ooh, is this hollow one? We draw another Chancellor. Shock Breeding Pool. Play Soccer Tribe-Elder. I guess we could have used Arbor Elf for that, but because we're probably not blocking, but so we probably just took 2 unnecessary damage. If we draw a land, we can Tezzeret out our Charbelcher. And they'll be dead in 2 turns, probably. Okay, opponent starts Faithless Looting. Draws 2, discards 2. Discards a Stomping Ground and a Gurmag Angler. Plays a Bloodstained Mire. Cracks Bloodstained Mire. Finds... Swamp. Plays a hollow one for 1 mana. When it gets in for 3, we take it. I think we're going to leave Soccer Tribe-Elder uncracked, just so we can block this hollow one. We draw a Safe Right quest. So we quest. Get a forest. Play a forest. Pass the turn. This way we can guarantee Tezzeret next turn as well. Unless our opponent Burning Inquiries him away. I'll cast a Goblin Lore. Discards Blackcleave Cliffs and 2 Burning Inquiries. Ooh, okay. Gets in for a bunch. Block like this. Sack for a forest. Opponent plays a mountain. Plays another Flame Blade Adept. Well, play the forest. Play Tezzeret. -4 Tezzeret. Get a Charbelcher. And now, we leave our fate in the hands of Top Deck God. Top Deck God, if you're listening, please no Burning Inquiry. On flashbacks, Faithless Looting. Opponent gets in for 6, takes us to 3. We could draw a land or a land tutor to up our chances of killing our opponent. We draw a Soccer Tribe-Elder. Well, it's a land tutor. Sack Soccer Tribe-Elder. So depending on where the forest is in our deck, is whether or not we win. Oh, it wasn't down far enough. Oh, we were one land away. Alright, well, our opponent's got us. Okay, versus Hollow One. I think we want the relics. Nature's Claim. It only hits Hollow One. I don't know if we actually do that. Fire Spout hits Phoenixes. It hits the... I think we're going to need Fire Spouts to help reset the board. Hits Phoenixes, hits Elves, or hits the Phoenixes, hits the Bloodghasts, hits the Flameblade Adepts. Does not hit Hollow One or Gurmag, though, unfortunately. But it is the best that we got right now. I don't know if we bring in Carnage Tyrants. Probably not. Okay, what do we go down? Probably gotta go down... I think recross the paths. Like, I know that it's... You use it to set up the win condition combo where, like, if you have a land left in your deck, or if you have no lands left in your deck, you can use it to, like, basically as a vampiric tutor for your whole deck and stack it, but I don't know that we're going to get there. I'm trying to think of some of our worst cards here. I think Renegade Map is pretty bad. In this particular matchup. And so is... Let's go down a Wall of Roots. And... maybe an Arbor Elf. We'll go down a Tezzeret. Try it like this. Okay. Yes, we would like to play first. Ooh, we have a very fast Charbelcher, but not a lot of land tutors. We will keep. Reveal Chancellor. Add green to our mana pool. Play a forest. Utopia Sprawl said forest. On, I think, red. Play a Wall of Roots. Play an Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. That is a lot of mana on turn 2. That is 5 mana on turn 2. When it plays an Arid Mesa, cracks an Arid Mesa for red. Plays Flameblade Adept. We untap, we draw birds. Okay. We have 5 mana. We can flower and then Charbelcher. And then birds. So let's put a counter on Wall of Roots. Flower. Or a forest. Play a forest. Play Charbelcher. Play birds. Pass the turn. We do have like multiple activations of Charbelcher in order to kill our opponent. That was really, really fast. We could also Charbelcher to like kill their creature, depending on what they have. Opponent burning inquiries into a hollow one. Attacks for 4. We take it. We untap. We draw a Relic of Progenitus. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could also cast Chancellor here. Because Chancellor is a huge body. So we play Chancellor. I think we have no blockers. I mean, we can block a hollow one. But we leave Relic offline if they have, like... Well, if they had a Gurmag, they would play Gurmag. Yeah. I think we have to stall a little bit. Play Chancellor. Pass the turn. That should help stonewall our opponent a little bit. It does die to a bolt if we block hollow one, but that's probably worth it. That would limit our opponent's castable cards. Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire. Goblin Lores. Discarding Gurmag Angler, Wooded Foothills, and a Goblin Lore. Opponent goes to attacks. Attacks. Block hollow one with Chancellor. Opponent casts another hollow one. Cracks Bloodstained Mire. Finds Mountain. Bolts Chancellor. Okay, we untap. We draw. Safe Right quest. Well, let's cast a Safe Right quest. Get a Breeding Pool out of the deal. Play Breeding Pool tapped. Play Relic. Pass the turn. When it casts a Flamewake Phoenix. Attacks. Well, let's block hollow one with Wall of Roots. Remove a counter. Tap for 2 mana. Crack, Relic, and draw. Just in case we draw a land. Okay, we draw birds. Tap for green. Shoot our opponent. We hit them for 7. Technically, I think Forest last is best. I don't know that those cards will be relevant again, but we'll see. We untap, we draw. Channeler Initiate. Play Channeler. Put its counters on itself. Play birds. Pass the turn. Opponent burning inquiries. Discards a Bloodghast, Faithless Looting, and an Ancient Grudge. They do not have any green mana, thankfully. We discard Breeding Pool, Wormcoil, and Soccer Tribe Elder. That's good. That's one more land out of our deck. Would have been a very disappointing activation. Opponent attacks, attacks, attacks. We will block here. I think we just block with all. Go ahead and untap this forest. Damage resolves. And hopefully in 2 activations we kill our opponent. Opponent flashes back, Faithless Looting. Discards Lightning Bolt and Faithless Looting. Get our opponent's end step. Activate Charbelcher. Opponent goes to 2. Okay, once again, Forest last, just in case. So the very bottom card. Untap, we draw Soccer Tribe Elder. But we can't do both, unfortunately. Shoot our opponent again. Alright, we got there. Whew. Okay, moving on. Game 3. Maybe taking out the land tutors isn't worth it. I'm not sure. I don't know how good Fire Spout actually is in this matchup. Combined with Relic, it can be really good, but... Alright, let's just run it back for Game 3. I don't think we want to make any adjustments here. Okay, this is another pretty strong start. We will keep this hand. Reveal Chancellor. Opponent starts Blackcleave Cliffs and Faithless Looting. Discards Ancient Grudge and Flamewake Phoenix. We untap. We draw Relic. Add green to our mana pool. Play a forest. Play Utopia Sprawl on the forest. Name red, because we have Fire Spout. Tap for 2. Wall of Roots. Counter on Wall of Roots. Relic. Make our opponent exile a card. Wall of Roots and Relic is really nice super early because we can hold up Relic activation on their turn. If our opponent does something like crazy here. Like if the Goblin lore into all the right cards, we can crack Relic. Opponent plays a Flameblade Adept. We untap. We draw Channeler Initiate. I think we just Forest and Fire Spout. Activate Relic. Opponent gets rid of the Phoenix. Now let's just get rid of the only threat they have. If they have a Bolt, we can crack Wall of Roots to draw a card. Fire Spout. Kill the Flameblade Adept. Pass the turn. That may have been a little premature, but I didn't want them to... Alright, opponent plays a Bloodghast. That's not super scary. We untap. We draw a Sacred Charbelcher. Make our opponent exile a card. Play... Sacred Charbelcher. Play Channeler Initiate. Target Sacred Charbelcher. Crack Elder in response. Put a forest onto the battlefield. Channeler's ability fizzles. Now we have a relatively decent blocker for 2 mana. We did give up the opportunity to get colored mana other than red or green out of it, but opponent bolts. Well, float a green. Crack Relic. Draw Arbor Elf. Opponent passes. We untap. We draw another Utopia Sprawl. So let's Ancient Stirrings. We find a Charbelcher. Opponent can have a Fulminator Mage. I don't think they run like any actual Stone Rain that can hit a basic. So maybe we go for the higher upside of trying to sprawl onto the same land. I don't think they run Ghost Quarter either. We'll see if we regret this. Play Utopia Sprawl. Name blue. Tap for 3 mana. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. If our opponent has a bolt, they almost certainly have to use it now. Or if they draw one, they have to use it now. Opponent plays a forest. Or plays a mountain, I mean, excuse me. We draw Tezzeret. Tap our Mishra's Workshop. And a forest. Untap it now. I guess Chancellor is safer. Play Chancellor. Pass the turn. We can even Tezzeret -1 for Relic. Opponent cycles a Street Wraith, Goblin Lores, pitching Street Wraith Hollow 1, Hollow 1. Ooh, sometimes you Goblin Lore the wrong half of your hand away. Opponent Faithless Looting. Draws 2. I guess we could have been attacking with Channeler Initiate, because Bloodghast can't block, and our opponent hasn't been able to be aggro. That's probably a mistake on my part. Not something I actually even considered, because I've been playing against aggro. I figured like Channeler Initiate as a blocker is better most of the time, but doesn't block Phoenix, can't block Hollow One or Gurmag Angler, and Bloodghast can't block, so I guess we should have been attacking. That's entirely my bad. Once again, not used to playing a deck like this. Opponent plays a Flameblade Adept and an Arid Mesa. Alright. Oh my gosh, that's so much mana! This is the best forest. Utopia Sprawltron achieved. We could play Tezzeret and minus for a Charbelcher. Or we could play Charbelcher and next turn shoot him twice. I like that plan better. So play Charbelcher. Untap the land now. Attack for... Yeah, we'll attack with both this time. The odds that we can kill him with just one activation increase exponentially at this point. Opponent bolts the dork. Casts Ancient Grudge. Well, shoot our opponent. Oh my gosh. 12 damage. And that's it. Opponent's done for. We have 9 on board. They're just dead. They are just dead. And opponent scoops it up. That's 2 matches. 2 matches for 7-land Belcher, and against decent. Well, Temur Delver's pretty decent, but Hollow One's tier 1. At least it was. It's a good deck. Heck yeah, I won't play first. Oh, 7-land Belcher, round 3. No free mana whatsoever. Got a mulligan. Much better. We will keep this hand. Hopefully we can ramp into a Wormcoil and that will be enough. Charbelcher. To the top. We want to draw that. Which, weirdly enough, will cause us to not cast Flower Flourish turn 1. So start Forest. Opponent going to start Scalding Tarn. Passes. We draw. Charbelcher. Play a Forest. Play Soccer Tri-Belter. Pass the turn. Hopefully we draw a land here. Opponent plays a Steam Vents tapped. And a Thing in the Ice. Alright, well, sack Soccer Tri-Belter, get a Forest. Looks like we're against Arclight, Phoenix, Thingitude, whatever you want to call it. Get a Forest. Play the Forest. Flower again. Get a Forest. Play Renegade Map. Pass the turn. I wish we had more ways to get our breeding pools. It hasn't been incredibly relevant, but a couple of times it has happened that we've wanted something else that could tutor for them. Opponent Manamorphose to start. Adds red-blue. Faithless Looting. Draws, discards double Phoenix. Uh-oh. Finishes off with a cantrip, reanimating the Phoenixes. Ooh. That's not good for us. We will be able to resolve this Charbelcher, though, it would appear. Unless our opponent goes land Spell Pierce. Oh, or goes land and has Spell Pierce, I should say. When a gutshots our opponent, or gutshots us, so they flip the thing to attack this turn. Oh, and turn 3 Charbelcher, or turn 4 maybe? Not fast enough. We take 1,000,000 damage, go to 6, untap, draw Arbor Elf, and yeah, turn 5 activation, not fast enough. So rather than show our opponent what we're doing, if they don't know what this deck is, then we will just scooped a game too. So Relic's in. I don't know if we want Carnage Tyrant. Fire Spout. It's a sorcery speed way to reset the board against Phoenix unless we have relics. Damping Sphere, somewhat useful, I think. So let's cut 3 Renegade maps. We'll cut... I guess let's cut all the Renegade maps. Then we will cut... I think a Birds and an Arbor Elf, because our 1-mana mana dorks are much worse versus a deck that main decks gut shots. And try it like this. Not bringing in Fire Spout might be wrong here, but we'll see. Oh, turn 1 Damping Sphere. Yeah. We will keep this hand. Let's do our best impression of Mud, shall we? It's 2 mana on turn 1 into some kind of sphere of resistance. Oh, I love when you can do nasty things like that. We should be able to go right up the chain and resolve this Charbelcher relatively unimpeded, too, if our opponent is going to be using a lot of their mana for stuff on their turn. Alright, so get some mana. Play a forest. Sprawl the forest on blue, I guess. Tap for 2. Play Damping Sphere. Hopefully throw a rock in our opponent's plans. Opponent starts Spire Bluff Canal. Casts a Faithless Looting. Discards Arclight, Phoenix, and Gutshot. We draw Flower Flourish. We'll play a forest. Ancient Stirrings. Ooh, do we just want to go Relic here? Let's see. We can get up to 4 mana. We could just take the Wormcoil Engine to, like, have a backup win condition we hopefully eventually can cast. Because we can't cast Relic this turn if we flower, and we should flower, I think. But Wormcoil, there's no guarantee we'll actually be able to cast. Let's take Relic. And we will cast Flower this turn. Get a forest. Play the forest. Oh, we played a land this turn. That's alright. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand. Cracks Flooded Strand. Finds an island. Plays Thing in the Ice. We untap. We draw Arbor Elf. We'll play a forest. Play Charbelcher. Pass the turn. Does kind of suck to run that out without protection. Like if our opponent has no Braid. Opponent plays an island. Plays Thing 2 Electric Boogaloo. We untap. We draw Tezzeret the Seeker. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. And I guess we start activating Charbelcher. Just target our opponent's face. We still have 4 lands left in the deck, though. Opponent bolts our face. Untaps. They draw. Opponent casts a Serum Visions. Hopefully they can't flip thing this turn. It would be a little bit tough for them to do so, I think. They need to have like land Manamorphose, and then I don't know if that does it. Gut Shot, maybe? Land Manamorphose, Gut Shot. I want to cast a Faithless Looting. Plays a Scalding Tarn. Passes. I'll activate Charbelcher, target our opponent's face. We deal 8 damage. Just in case, we'll go land all the way to the bottom. Untap, we draw. Wormcoil Engine. Well, we could cast Wormcoil Engine, but our opponent almost certainly is holding... Well, they can just flashback Faithless Looting, so... I mean... We'll play a Relic. I guess we crack it now, just in case they have only lands in hand. And draw land. We have no other way to use the mana anyway. And it does get rid of a Phoenix and potential Snapcaster shenanigans. Don't know if that deck runs Snapcaster. But... Crack Relic. Untap our Utopia Sprawled land. Utopia Sprawl again. Also on blue. Pass the turn. Want to crack Scalding Tarn. Gets an island. Opts to flip the thing. So we know the bottom 7 cards of our deck. I think we have to try and shoot a thing. Because double thing plus bolt kills us next turn. And the odds that they have a bolt are probably greater than the odds we kill them in one activation. So let's shoot thing. Oh, we should have just shot our opponent. Oh, we should have just shot our opponent. Alright, my bad. My bad, everyone yelling at me in the comments. I should have just shot my opponent. Oh, man. Opponent gets in for 7. Takes us to 10. We untap, we draw. Safe Right Quest. Alright, so Safe Right Quest. For Breeding Pool. Breeding Pool tapped. Arbor Elf. Shoot. You know how sometimes you wish you're good at this game, but you're not? That's me right now. I'm going to blame the fact that it's currently 1:14 in the morning and I have work in 5 hours. Maybe the Magic Gods will take pity on me for punting spectacularly. They didn't. They did not. Land on top. Well, we're dead to Bolt, which means we're dead. So, hey, you know... Yep. 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 Should have got a forest instead of a breeding pool there. We got a forest. Would have been able to play an Arbor Elf to block. Should have shot our opponent, first off. Just gone for the Hail Mary, but that never happens. Oh my gosh, that never happens. If I had targeted my opponent, we would have flipped a card and done 1 damage and then just died to the things in the eyes. I only had the time to record 3 matches tonight instead of the usual 4. We did a lot better than I expected this deck to. We really ran away with some games. We didn't. I hope we didn't punt too much. We made, conscious memory says, like 2 punts, 3 punts, 2 of which were serious, maybe. That sounds right. I'm gonna say that. Which is not bad for having played a deck like this. I feel like this was very user-friendly. It has kind of a one-track mind, which is get to as much mana as possible and then cast, like, one of these big game-endy boys over here. Side note, if you want to play this deck, watch what colors you put your Utopia Sprawls on. Very important. Have a good night, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye.